could be a fungus, it could be a virus, and some other pathogens. Okay, so we have a pathogen here. What is going to happen? If this pathogen came in and just slept there and had fun, it was fine. But the pathogen decides that he is going to enter a cell. So this is our body cell. This is our treasure, right? It decides to enter a cell and go and make babies. Right? More pathogens. There's little cute pathogens. They're not really cute. They're going to be trying to damage us soon. So this is a normal cell. Pathogens are growing in there. So now what happens to the cell? You are aware that when the cell is damaged, remember that healthy house? When the cell has some illness, the MHC1 will be reduced, right? That is first thing. MHC1 would reduce. Second thing is, of course, the cell's own function will reduce because cell's machinery has been stolen by these pathogens, and the pathogens are using the cell's resources, that is machineries and the proteins and the energy to make themselves. Right? So it's a sick cell. So pathogen has entered there, MHC is one which is reduced, so natural killer cell is alerted, he might try to kill the cell. Right? Remember, so natural killer cell is going to throw perforins, defensins, and granzymes. So granzymes really make the holes and the defensins go in and do the killing. But anyways, this cell could die. So the important thing is that if this cell dies, what will we have here? And the cell could die for other reason too. Number of pathogens inside the cell have increased to the number that cell cannot have them anymore. It's going to burst open. End result, in here we have broken pieces of cell. Right? So debris of cell is present. This debris appeared, be very careful, this has to be known to a doctor and to a student. How does this all start? How the defense starts, how inflammation starts. So pathogen entered the tissue, went into a healthy cell, or did not go into a healthy cell. There are multiple types of pathogens. In our example, it went into a cell. It replicated there, broke the cell. Or the pathogen was inside the cell, natural killer cell found it. It found the cell to be unhealthy, it killed the cell. Either way, there is debris. Then, at the same time, remember there are two players we'll talk about these players. One is a macrophage. So macrophage is sitting there, he's keeping an eye on the pathogen. Right? So macrophage is really angry. He is a resident macrophage of this tissue. And remember, we have this dude as well. Who is this dude? He's looking at that too. This is the dendritic cell. So the dendritic cell is sitting there. Macrophage is sitting looking at the pathogen. Natural killer cell is sitting there and looking at the cells in which pathogens have gone and trying to kill those cells. Pathogen is doing its own, busting the cells open and killing those as well. When this all is happening, macrophage actually figures out that we have this. So it has toll-like receptors. This is true for all phagocytic cells, that they have pattern recognition receptors, PRRs. These are pattern recognition receptors. Okay, so the PRR, in this case, toll-like receptor 4, toll-like receptor 2, and then CD14, cluster of differentiation 14 or cluster of designation 14. So these are the things which grab the pathogen. This is going to be true for neutrophil as well. But neutrophil is not here yet. Neutrophils are not normally resident. So neutrophil is not here yet. Pathogen macrophage is holding on to the pathogen and seeing. It's going to eat it up, and what is it going to do? It's going to take it to the lymphoid tissue. Remember, this is an antigen presenting cell. There are 3 antigen presenting cells: dendritic cells, macrophages, and B lymphocytes in the lymph nodes. They're all antigen presenting cells, part of acquired innate immunity triggering the acquired immunity. We're not talking about that at this time. But anyways, macrophage knows we have a pathogen. Dendritic cell knows we have a pathogen. Dendritic cell is actually another type of macrophage, right? So he also has a similar function. So he has eaten up the pathogen too. The end result, there are going to be chemical substances released from the macrophage, from the dendritic cell, from the other cells present here. The most important out of those which are relevant here are going to be interleukin 1 and tumor necrosis factor. Then what else? Other very important things which are going to be, so when a tissue cell dies, remember that we have gotten the breakdown products. We have gotten arachidonic acid breakdown products. So we have cyclooxygenase and we have lipoxygenase pathways. So the end result of that is that we get